The BC Agriculture Water Calculator is used by the province to set water license limits on how much water you can draw and how fast. In just a few clicks, it estimates the amount of water different crops and irrigation systems use in a typical season and breaks it all down by month. So it's very tempting to use this calculator to draw up a rough irrigation schedule. But hold it there. This is not a scheduling tool. It calculates benchmarks to divvy up water licenses. It's not there to help you decide how much to water, especially as the climate heats up. The BC Ag Water Calculator is based on an average season between the years 2000 and 2010. The average season is now hotter and drier, and there's no sign of slowing down. Here's the crunch. Water sources aren't getting any bigger, and many are shrinking. Your water license isn't going to get any bigger either. Savor every drop, because we'll have to use water more efficiently to thrive in the future. Here I'll show you how to use the calculator to compare with your license. Then we'll look at some recent weather for a wake-up call. A few minutes from now, I hope you'll be inspired to irrigate as efficiently as possible, and to use a scheduling calculator to help you do it. Let's jump in. Click on the Irrigation tab. Enter your address and click on your parcel on the map. Here's a place in Grand Forks, south of the Kettle River. Set the irrigated area to 1 acre. You'll see why in a minute. Choose your crop or something close from the list. These load the calculator with standard planting patterns and crop requirements. Let's go with forage, which is often used as a reference to compare with other plants. The form automatically loads your surface soil texture from BC's soil surveys. Next, irrigation type helps determine how much water actually makes it into the soil around the roots. The rest is lost to evaporation from surfaces, unevenness from wind and runoff, or leaching below roots. Here we'll choose sprinkler, which is about 70% efficient. That's much less efficient than drip or pivots, and more efficient than guns. Scroll down and you'll see estimates for climate variables, including length of growing season, peak evapotranspiration, and peak flow rates. Evapotranspiration, or ET, measures how quickly soils dry up. It's the depth of water used in a day by a crop of healthy, well-fertilized, fast-growing grass. The calculator gets peak ET from the average of the hottest, driest 10-day periods between 2000 and 2010. For Grand Forks, the peak ET is 5.5 millimeters per day. That's less than a quarter inch of water to keep that idealized grass crop growing vigorously on a hot day. We'll get back to this in a moment, because ET has been cranking up. Peak flow is the fastest rate you are licensed to draw water. It's based on irrigating 24 hours per day to meet the demands of the hottest, driest times of an average season. In this case, 1 acre in Grand Forks has a peak flow of about 5.5 gallons per minute, 24 hours per day. You may have already noticed the rule of thumb. The peak flow for 1 acre, in gallons per minute, is the same as the peak evapotranspiration in millimeters per day. Annual water demand is in cubic meters, the same as you'll find in a modern water license. To picture irrigation amounts, I prefer water depths in inches or millimeters, just like we measure rain. So here's a trick. Change the units to acre-feet. An acre-foot is a volume that's 1 foot deep over an acre. Let's double check we've set the irrigated area to 1 acre. Now, these acre-foot values give us water depths in feet. To convert feet to inches, multiply by 12. Here, in Grand Forks, 21 inches of water are allocated to irrigate forage with sprinklers. Now click on Show Estimated Monthly Amounts. we see 5 inches in May and June, 7 inches in July, 6 inches in August, and 4 inches in September. But according to a weather station installed in Grand Forks 2 years ago, that's not nearly enough for a good crop of grass. In both 2020 and 2021, irrigation needed to start in April, and June has been right up there with July and August. The water demand has been 50% higher than the calculator says. Now, this is just a couple years of data. But if it's a trend, we really only have 2 options: irrigate less land or irrigate more efficiently. Water supplies are limited, and it's only going to get drier. In our region, we get very little rain and depend heavily on snowpacks. So earlier, hotter springs are a problem. Making matters much worse, heavily deforested and burned watersheds have less shade to keep snow and less soil to hold water. Inevitably, water will become more scarce in peak season, right when we need it the most. The weather has already blown right past the calculator's peak evapotranspiration of 5.5 millimeters of water per day. In 2020, 40 consecutive days averaged more than 6 millimeters per day. In 2021, 40 consecutive days averaged more than 7 millimeters of water per day. If it's a trend, peak season in Grand Forks will dry out the soil 30% faster than the calculator shows from 20 years ago. But the province will not let you draw water 30% faster. The peak flow in your license is a hard limit. Again, the options are clear. First, maintain your system. Replace old drip lines, patch leaks, fix nozzles, and so on. Or consider changing to a better irrigation system altogether. Second, irrigate as effectively as possible, with a weather-based schedule kept in tune with soil moisture sensors. That's what this series is all about. And if that doesn't get you all the way, maybe you can build a reservoir or large storage to supplement your peak weeks. If you're feeling the heat, then you'll agree. We need to watch the weather to keep up with the times. And as you'll see in the rest of the series, we have to keep a close eye on our soil as well. Next up, a crash course to irrigate the right amount at the right time, no matter what the climate throws at us.